Oh my god, it works! Hi, I'm so glad you could join me here today. I always wanted to make games, but knew it is insane amount of work. Well, at least for the games that I'd like to make, because what would be a better passion project than combining your favorite games and favorite mechanics from them to make one special game dear to your heart? Well, here we are at the beginning of my journey. And first off, I want to talk about this insanely sanity-taxing mechanic that I did from Divinity Original Sin 2, the environmental surface system. Well, I say it's from Divinity, but there the whole game world is turn-based and the entire engine is definitely customized to make it easier for them. With Unreal Engine though, and with me wanting real-time game, it was nerve-wracking experience to recreate this mechanic, but I'm proud to say that it works, and it works incredibly well. It definitely can have some optimization improvements, but that can be done in later stages of development. The funny thing about this mechanic is that it interacts in a way that common sense would dictate. Well, at least I hope so. For example, when you have ice and you put fire there, the ice will melt, creating a water. And if you put fire on water, then it vaporizes it and it makes a steam cloud. Or maybe there is a poison or oil that are flammable, so you use fire and it will ignite everything. The same goes for blood or water with electrified stuff. And this is just a small taste of my 22 different environmental surfaces. Of course, there is this one buggy slide thing that when it goes up slopes, it doesn't rotate. But I don't care about that now, and I will do it later. Let's start from the beginning. What I want to make is a game that first and foremost will enable players to make their own character builds. That's why the whole inventory, equipment and stats are similar to Diablo. Not only that, but the loot system and items also resemble Diablo. If you are interested in how it works, I already have a video on my channel that goes around the basics of such loot system, but damn, that video is just the basics. I had to redo so many stuff there for it to actually work exactly like I wanted. Also, the data that I had to put for every item and affix, that was an ungodly amount of time spent on that. But I'm so glad to say that they are actually already set up with everything like names, visuals, stats, etc. I also really like different playstyles from the start. That's why I want to create at least 3 unique classes with distinct and different gameplays. But for now, I'm just sticking with one, and that is a ranger. You can see that I can roll around and shoot also wherever I want, which slows my movement speed a bit. The way the ranger will work, hopefully, is that he can choose what type of elemental arrow to shoot for free without any energy spent, and with that elemental arrow or environment selected, the spells will adapt to that as well. So for example, if you have an AoE that will deal physical damage and elemental damage, the elemental damage will be of chosen element, and if it will spawn the surface environment, that will also be based on the chosen arrow type. I want everything in my game to go around this main mechanic, which is the environmental surfaces. And I want all characters in the world to be able to interact with it also. And because I have 22 different surfaces, not every will be available to be chosen by the player. Some of them, like for example sand, can be naturally occurring in the world, and then player can lure enemies to it, or maybe enemies will already be there. And if player chooses to use spell that spawns water, it will make it a mud, which will have a status effect that slows everyone in it. As you can see, I also don't want the status effects to be buffs or debuffs, those will be different things. These are called status effects because they can be both at the same time. And we will see what I can do with enemies. Maybe the enemies will spawn with the prefix fire and will be empowered by it, and when they walk through the water, then as long as they are wet from the water, the fire empowerment will not be working. Who knows? There are numerous possibilities on how to approach this. And I'm not even talking about the way that I want to make the world to be procedurally generated with some parts of course handcrafted by me. Anyways, this is all I can show you now sadly, and I'm hoping that in the next devlog I will be able to show you full spell system merged with the indicators that I'm making tutorial series for as of uploading this video. Thanks for listening to my rant, and I really hope you will have a great rest of the day. Bye.